Good morning, Rogersville. Thanks for joining us once again. We're launching a new show today. We got Roy Rickstrew, the Disability Guru, with me again today. You may have seen him. He was a frequent fill-in guest for Bruce Porter on Wednesday mornings, Dollars and Cents. Now we got a spinoff show here. We're going to do our own disability workshop kind of chat on Monday mornings. And so if you have a question about disability law, how to get disability benefits, feel free to send them into the station here at K-ROG, info@krogtv.com. We'll pass them to Roy, and maybe we can get your question answered live on the show. But before that, Roy, for folks that haven't tuned in before, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, sure. I'm Roy Rickstrew, and I work at the Resource Center, as the sign indicates up here above us. And I'd worked for the state processing disability-based claims for about 4 years or so. Realized I was on the wrong side of the desk. To survive in that kind of bureaucratic environment, you have to be really rigid with the rules. You have to move people through really quickly. And unfortunately, when folks are struggling with cancer diagnoses or all the other things that can go wrong with this, I just didn't have the heart to pull the plug on applications for people who I knew were struggling.
Yeah.
So I changed teams. I went to work as an advocate, where I could take the time. I could help folks through these difficult programs and situations. And try to give them the help that they really need, that the government just honestly can't or won't give.
Sure. No, I understand that. I think, one of the things that I think is most interesting in getting to know you, getting to know your practice, is that, in some ways, I think disability is a broader category than maybe some people realize.
Oh, it most definitely is. And, I've been working as an advocate for about 20 years, and that's something that experience exposes you to a lot of facets of the Social Security program that most people don't have the opportunity to encounter. Mm-hmm. And you're right, it's very broad. We have programs that are specific for insured workers who've paid into the system most of their life. We have programs that are for folks that didn't pay into the system as much and may not have that insured status. Of course, there's children's claims. There's disabled adult children's claims for folks that are now adults but were disabled when they were children, kind of aged in, if you will. There's a widows program, survivors programs, of course. And then as an offshoot of that is the whole railroad retirement system that runs parallel to Social Security for folks who work for the retirement. They pay into. It's kind of the same governing rules as the Social Security program that applies to the Railroad Retirement Board. Processes are a little different. Hearings especially are a little different. Much less formal.
Sure.
More of a sit down in a room and talk to somebody than it is any kind of a court proceeding or presentation.
Well, I know we got kind of acquainted when we started working on some things, particularly when I was doing special needs trust planning. We do some work together on that for when folks have special needs. We're trying to protect their benefits, but they're maybe inheriting money, receiving money or something, and we need to make sure they get the benefit of that, but don't allow it to affect their Social Security benefits. And so I've always appreciated your expertise in that area. So how, as far as if somebody's sitting out there thinking right now, maybe I have a disability claim, maybe I don't know. What's their next step?
Well, and it's just something we'll talk more about in the series as we move forward, obviously. But something that's real important for folks to understand is that disability is not wheelchairs and crutches necessarily. Depending upon our age, some people can qualify for disability with having very little wrong with them. It just kind of depends on how much of their age is a vocational adversity, how limited their education, how limited their skill set. So in some circumstances, it doesn't take a lot for you to file for disability and be approved. What's important is we need to focus in on your worker functions. So if you're sitting out there and you're struggling in the workforce, you've had some workforce failures where you were let go or disciplined because you couldn't get along in the workforce or couldn't keep up with the workload or with those type of things, that's a better barometer, I think, of the likelihood of you being approved for disability than sitting back and trying to kind of figure out if society at large considers you to be disabled.
So it's far more than just a physical or even mental defect, I guess would maybe be the right word.
Sure.
Yeah.
And like I said, it just kind of depends on what your worker profile looks like. But if you're sitting out there and you're wondering, you've been struggling in the workforce, the best thing to do, I think, is to call somebody like myself, just have that quick conversation. You can go file an application with Social Security. You can go through the process. You can fight with your bureaucracy. You can struggle to get phone calls returned. But honestly, consulting a professional that does this type of work and at least getting a first blush opinion of your case, I think is very helpful. because, you can spin your wheels for 16 or 18 months waiting on Social Security only to find out that you didn't have a legitimate claim and you really needed to be making other claims.
Or that you had a legitimate claim, you just didn't frame it properly.
And you lost money and benefits because of it.
Yeah. So, and if they want to reach you, that number at the Resource Center, 417-882-1800. Do you still have some workshops, some seminars coming up?
Yeah, we're still trying to do twice a month seminars there at the Resource Center. You can just call the office and register for those. Just an informational meeting. They run about an hour in length, real informal. Question and answer session at the end, kind of a presentation about the program at large, programs that are available, some of the things you can do to help improve your own case, tips, tricks, that sort of thing.
And again, that number is 417-882-1800. Roy, thanks for coming in today, introducing yourself. We'll look forward to seeing you regularly, weekly, on Mondays.
Yeah, you can also find me at yourdisabilityrep.com, yourdisabilityrep.com. Been uploading videos there to try to help folks with some additional guidance.
Okay, good resource. Thanks for coming in, Roy. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Take
care. Bye-bye.